Hello everybody, this is Legends, and what in the world is he doing? So this is, of course, when Wormtail escapes from Harry, Ron, Hermione, Sirius, and Lupin. And he escapes, grabs this wand, sticks the wand to his head, like points it at himself, and then turns into a rat. Why is he pointing the wand at his head like this? So we know you don't need a wand to turn into an animal, and to be an animagus. We know this because Sirius was able to turn into a dog without a wand. Wormtail was able to turn into a rat for 14 years without the use of a wand. And because the Harry Potter fandom wiki tells us this. So what is Wormtail doing here? Well, that's what I hope to explain to you in this video. The first thing we need to address is this common misconception that Wormtail is a bad or useless or inept wizard, as he's labeled by just about everyone in the books. He may be useless and inept in some ways, but he's done some pretty impressive stuff. Shortly after Voldemort killed Harry's parents, Sirius confronted Wormtail, and Wormtail then pointed his wand over his shoulder and blew up everyone on an entire street, killing 12 people and injuring others. We have never seen anyone else do anything like this again in any of the books. This is an impressive display of magical power. Then there's the fact that he found Voldemort. Shortly after being captured by Lupin and Sirius, Peter escapes, turns into a rat, and finds Voldemort in about a month of searching. How did he do that? You're telling me that Peter had a bad day and suddenly, after 14 years, says, "Hey, you know who I haven't seen in a while? Lord freaking Voldemort. I think I'll go pay him a visit." Then makes a beeline straight to Albania, where Voldemort is hiding. How did he find Voldemort so quickly? The books tell us that he went to Albania and spoke with other animals and found out that there was a part of the forest where other animals' lives were shortened, which eventually led him to Voldemort. Now, Peter would have to have made this trip as a rat as to not be seen by any other witches or wizards that might have recognized him. But even if he didn't, it takes about 22 days to walk from Scotland, where Hogwarts is supposedly located, to Albania as a human, non-stop, no sleep or breaks. So this is if he just randomly decided to turn into a human and walk there. He couldn't have apparated because he didn't have a wand. In very, very rare circumstances, wizards can apparate without the use of a wand. So far, we only know that Dumbledore is able to do this and Voldemort. Those are the only two people that we know are able to apparate without the use of wands. So Wormtail would have to have known almost exactly where Voldemort was in order to find him as fast as he did. How? Dumbledore didn't even know. Many people have tried to find Voldemort over the years and failed. Why was Peter successful? Alright, so we've established that it shouldn't really have been possible for Peter to find Voldemort without Peter knowing almost exactly where Voldemort was located. Now here's the interesting part. I think Wormtail did know exactly where Voldemort was located. Or at least almost exactly. He had to talk to a few of the animals to find out the exact precise location of it. But I think Peter knew the general area where he was. And how did Peter know where he was? Well, by doing this. So earlier we've established that you don't need a wand to turn into your animagus animal form, right? Now here's what else we know about this picture. This wand is not Peter's wand. That wand is Lupin's wand. We know this for sure because the books tell us so, that Peter picked up Lupin's wand when he turned into the rat. Alright, so now what do we know about Lupin's wand? Why is that significant? So earlier in the book, when Harry was pointing his wand at Sirius, Lupin entered into the room and disarmed Harry. We also know that in the 7th book, Dumbledore teaches us a little bit about wands. Specifically, that wands can interact with each other and almost have a form of communication between one another when they make a connection or when magic is used on them. So like if Lupin's wand used magic on Harry's wand, they would have made a small connection. This is how Harry's wand was able to shoot golden flames at Voldemort in the 7th book, earlier in the 7th book, because in the 4th book, when they dueled each other, Harry's wand learned something of Voldemort's wand, that being much of Voldemort's skill. So that enabled Harry's wand to act on its own when Voldemort was about to kill Harry and shoot those golden flames at him. Those golden flames being a manifestation of Harry's courage mixed with Voldemort's dangerous skill with magic. Now, Voldemort didn't know that Harry's wand would do that. He didn't know that wands could absorb the power of other wands and, have a mind of their own. But it is likely that Voldemort did know a few tricks with wands, and he may have taught a few of those tricks to his followers, like Wormtail. So consider this. When Lupin disarmed Harry, their wands made a connection. Lupin's wand inherited a record of Harry's magical power. Now, I'm not talking about like a piece of Harry's soul went into Lupin's wand, and Lupin's wand may not have learned anything from Harry's wand. I'm thinking more of like a footprint, that Lupin's wand came in contact with Harry's wand, and that footprint is distinctly Harry's. Kind of like if you were to find a hair or like a fingernail on a crime scene. People would be able to take that fingernail or hair and analyze it and know that it was Harry's. I'm thinking that this is what Wormtail did, that this is what Voldemort had taught Wormtail to do. And the reason why Wormtail did this was because Voldemort's soul was inside of Harry. How did Wormtail know that Voldemort's soul was inside of Harry? Well, Wormtail knew what happened in the Chamber of Secrets. He would have been able to overhear it when Harry was telling Ron and Hermione about it. He would have been able to overhear that Dumbledore had told Harry that a part of Voldemort's soul was inside of Harry. Dumbledore tells Harry this in the 2nd book when Harry asks why he's able to speak Parseltongue. And Dumbledore basically says, well, because Voldemort was. A part of Voldemort was left inside of you, giving you some of his abilities, like the ability to speak to snakes. When Harry told Ron and Hermione this, Peter would have been able to overhear and deduce what was going on. So he would have been able to know that if he were able to see a record of Harry on Lupin's wand, then he would also have been able to see a record of Voldemort on Lupin's wand, because at this point, Voldemort was a part of Harry. So when he is pointing Lupin's wand at his head like this, and kind of almost like he's drinking, like he's dipping the wand's information into his head, I think that he is performing a spell that Voldemort may have taught him. And because of this spell, he would have a record of Voldemort's being, and he would be able to sniff out that being to find out the general location of where Voldemort is located in Albania. Kind of like when police have a dog and they have the dog sniff like someone's piece of clothing or something, and then the dog would go and find that person. Wormtail would have had a lead on Voldemort from Lupin's wand, and would have been able to sniff out the general location of where Voldemort was located. And to summarize, because I don't know if this video is very coherent, because I can't make things coherent for people. To summarize, when Wormtail was doing this with the wand, he was pouring information about Harry and Voldemort into his memory, so that he would be able to sniff out Voldemort in Albania, which is how he was able to find Voldemort so quickly, while no one else was able to over the past 14 years. Hey, thanks for watching the video. This is the end of the video. Please be sure to like and comment and subscribe. They really help me out a lot. I hope I was able to make this video at least somewhat coherent and made it in a way that made sense. And yeah, well, again, thanks a lot for watching the video, and I will see you next time.